Hello guys, welcome back. In this video we want to look at list methods. In strings we learned that methods are functions associated with a particular class. Alright, so let's look at the methods associated with list. Let's say you are doing online shopping, okay, and you have already selected these items, and later on you want to add some items. You have to know that these are the things that makes it possible for you to shop online. So let's say we want to add bag and then other different stuffs to our list. That is a shopping cart. How can you do it? You can say shopping cart dot, then as soon as we hit the dot, all the methods associated with lists will pop up here if you are using a good ID like PyCharm, as I'm doing here. So we have pop, copy, append here. Let's see what the append will do for us. And then if we try to hover on the append, we will see the documentation about it. PyCharm is saying they've append object to the end of the list. Okay, so let's try to add, let's say, bag to the end of the list, and let's print new cart here and see what we get. So if you run new cart now, we are getting none. Wow, why? Now we should note something here. During strings, we learned that all the methods for strings return a new value, okay? But for lists, some methods return a new value, some methods modifies the object in place, okay, or the list in place. So let's hover over append again and let's see something. Can we see the arrow here, none here? Yes, it means that the append method does not return a value. It just modifies what? The list in place. Okay, so if a method does not return a value, you can't assign it to a new variable because it's just modifying the old list in place. So we would have to take this one out and print the shopping cart instead. And then if you run this now, we are getting rice, biscuit, oil, fish, and then bag. The bag has been appended at the end of the list. So it means you can use the append method to add items at the end of the list. Okay, all right, let's look at another way that we can add items to a list. Now we also have the insert method or extend method. Let's look at the insert method first. Now if we click on it and we hover over it, let's see the documentation that will pop up. It also does not return a new value, so we can assign it to a variable. But the insert method takes an index, okay, of the item you want to add or the place where you want to add the new item. So first we would have to, let's say, specify the index of the item we want to put. So let's say we want to put it after the rice. The index of the rice is 0, so after the rice will be 1. All right, and then comma, we put the item name here. So let's say laptop. And then if you run this, let's see what we get. We have laptop in the second place. Okay, so that is how we use the insert method. If we bring here 0, it means our laptop will be the first item in the shopping cart. And then we have it and push the rest to the right. We can also use the extend method to add items to a list. So let's say we have extend Okay. Now, if you hover over the extend method to look at the documentation, we can see that it takes some iterable object. Okay, so it extends list by appending elements from the iterable. What we should know is that whatever that you have to put here must be iterable, something that we can loop over. When we learn loops, you understand what iterable means. So strings and then lists and some other data types are all iterable, but numbers are not iterable. Okay, so if we put, let's say, back here, and then we run this, but first let's see whether extend returns a new value. It's also none, so it doesn't return a new value. And then if we run this, oh, look at what we are getting. We are getting BAG. So what you should know is that since strings is iterable, the extend is taking it one by one. So if you want to insert this as a whole, as a bag, then we must put it as a list. Okay, so when you do it this way and then we run it, then we will get it as a bag. The extend can take multiple arguments, or since it's a list, it can take a list of many items. So we can bring the laptop here and then many more. So if we run this, we have bag laptop. So let's say we have changed our mind. We have added some items to our online shopping cart, and then later on we have changed our mind that we don't want to buy these items anymore. How can we remove items from our list? First, we have the pop clear and then remove methods to remove items from a list. So let's look at the pop first, and then if we select it and we hover over it, let's look at the documentation, what it says. Remove and return item at the index. All right, so what it means is that the pop method returns a value, so we can assign it to what? A variable. So right now, if we print shopping cart, let's see what we get. But before that, let me comment this one out. Okay, and then if, or better still, let's open this one so that we will know what our list is and what is being removed. And then if we run this, you see first laptop was included in the list, but after here laptop has been removed. So pop removes the last item in a list. Okay, now if you hover over it again, we can see that we can provide the index of the item that you want to remove in the pop method. Okay, so let's say we want to remove the first item. If we bring 0 here, then we expect that the first item, which is rice, must be removed from the list. So if we run this, can we see that rice has been removed? So since pop returns a new value, it means we can actually assign this to a new variable, and then we can actually print the removed item. Okay, so let's print the removed item and see what we get. We will get rice. Okay, that is the item that was removed. Now let's hover over the remove method and see something. It looks like PyCharm is trying to tell us something. Look at the yellow thing here, indicator here. Okay, so if you hover over the remove method, we will see that it takes one word argument, that is a value. So if we run this right now without providing any argument, we will get an error. Let's run it and see. You see we are getting an error. Type error list.remove takes exactly one argument, 0 given. So we must provide the specific item that we want to remove. Now what you should know is that the remove method does not accept the index of the item you want to remove. So if we put 1 here, you see still the yellow indicator is still trying to tell us that there is some error in our code. So we have to specifically type the item that we want to remove. Let's say you want to remove oil, so we put that here, and then if we print shopping cart, you see oil being removed from the list. All right, so let's end here, and in the next video we will explore more about list methods. Bye bye for now, see you later.